There is a blood so rare that almost no one has ever heard of it. Fewer than 50 people on the entire planet carry it in their veins, yet it holds the power to save lives in ways no other blood possibly can. Doctors call it priceless. Scientists call it impossible. But those who know the truth, they call it the Golden Bloodline. What you're about to discover has been hidden in medical journals, locked away in blood banks, and whispered about in hospital corridors for over 60 years. This isn't just about blood. This is about a genetic mystery so profound, it challenges everything we think we know about human evolution. Are you ready to learn why some believe this isn't just a medical anomaly, but proof of something far more ancient? The year was 1961. In a remote Australian medical facility, doctors were examining blood samples from an Aboriginal woman. What they found would rewrite the textbooks forever. But before we reveal what made this discovery so shocking, you need to understand something most people never learned in school. We all know about A, B, AB, and O blood types, but that's just the beginning. Your blood carries over 300 different proteins called antigens, like molecular fingerprints, coating every red blood cell. The Rh factor, that's just one of them. Most people are Rh positive, meaning they have this protein. Some are Rh negative, they lack it. But this woman had something that shouldn't have been possible. Her blood had 0 Rh antigens, not just Rh negative, completely absent of an entire family of proteins that define human blood. Scientists called it RHnull. The medical community called it golden blood. And here's why this discovery was both a miracle and a curse. Because golden blood has no antigens, it can be transfused into anyone with rare blood types in the Rh system. It's the ultimate universal donor for the rarest cases. But here's the terrifying catch. If you have golden blood, you can only receive blood from other golden blood carriers. And remember, there are fewer than 50 known cases worldwide. Imagine needing a transfusion, and the nearest compatible donor is on the other side of the planet. This is the burden of the Golden Bloodline. But why is this blood so impossibly rare? And what does it tell us about human genetics that scientists don't want to discuss? Right now, as you watch this, approximately 43 people are walking this earth with liquid gold in their veins. That's rarer than finding a flawless diamond, rarer than discovering a new species. These individuals must register with international blood banks, creating a secret network spanning continents. They carry medical alert cards. They live with the knowledge that a simple accident could become a death sentence. Picture this. You're in a car accident. You're bleeding out. The paramedic checks your medical bracelet, and their face goes white. They're not just racing against time, they're racing against geography. The nearest compatible blood is in Geneva, or Tokyo, or Sao Paulo. A phone call goes out. A plane takes off. Your life hangs in the balance of international logistics. Blood banks treat golden blood like buried treasure. They store it in the most secure facilities, frozen in time, waiting for the call that may never come. Some units have been preserved for over 30 years. Dr. Thierry Peyrard at the French National Immunohematology Laboratory once said, "We can have a unit of golden blood that's 10 years old, but for the right patient, it's worth more than its weight in gold." But here's what keeps me awake at night. In all my research, I found stories of golden blood carriers who refuse to donate. They hoard their own blood, storing it for themselves, knowing they may never find another source. Can you blame them? When you're one of 43, every drop is precious. But there's something else, something the medical establishment doesn't advertise. The real question isn't just about rarity, it's about why this mutation exists at all. So why haven't you heard about this before? Why isn't golden blood taught in schools alongside basic blood types? The official answer? It's too rare to matter. Why teach something that affects 1 in 6 million people? But what if that's not the real reason? What if golden blood represents something that doesn't fit the neat little box of human evolution? What if acknowledging it publicly would raise questions the scientific establishment isn't ready to answer? Consider this. The RH system is ancient. It predates human civilization. Most mammals have it. But golden blood carriers are missing an entire chunk of genetic code that should be fundamental to mammalian life. It's like finding a human born without the genetic instructions for having a spine, except they're perfectly healthy, perfectly normal, just different. In 2018, a leaked internal memo from the International Society of Blood Transfusion revealed something disturbing. They referred to golden blood carriers as genetic outliers requiring special handling protocols. Special handling protocols. Not medical protocols, handling protocols. And then there are the whispers. Stories of private collectors who pay enormous sums for golden blood samples, black market genetics, research projects with no public documentation. Dr. Marion Reed, former director of the New York Blood Center, once said something that chilled me to the bone. Some genetic anomalies are better left unstudied. Better left unstudied. Why? What could be so dangerous about understanding this blood? Unless golden blood isn't just a medical curiosity. Unless it's evidence of something our ancestors knew, but modern science has forgotten. The truth about bloodlines. Ancient bloodlines. Sacred bloodlines. Golden bloodlines. Throughout human history, blood has meant power, divine right, sacred lineage. Kings claimed blue blood, noble blood that separated them from commoners. They married within bloodlines, obsessing over genetic purity. The Sumerian texts speak of the Anunnaki breeding with humans, creating a hybrid bloodline with special properties. Egyptian pharaohs believed their blood carried divine essence. What if these weren't just myths? What if ancient civilizations understood something about human genetics that we've forgotten? Think about it. Golden blood doesn't just lack antigens. It lacks them in a pattern that suggests purposeful design, not random mutation. Dr. Willie Flegel from the National Institutes of Health published research suggesting that RHnull blood might represent an ancient genetic variant, not a modern mutation. An ancient variant, meaning it's older than we thought. Meaning it might have been more common in the distant past. What if the chosen bloodlines of mythology weren't metaphorical? What if they were genetic realities that ancient people could somehow identify? Celtic druids spoke of the blood of the gods, those born with special gifts, special purposes. Norse mythology tells of the Aesir bloodline, genetically distinct from humans. Even the Bible speaks of the Nephilim, giants born from the union of divine beings and human women. Their blood was different. Their children were different. What if golden blood is the last remnant of these ancient lineages? What if we're looking at genetic evidence of humanity's hidden history? But there's one more secret, one more piece of this puzzle that will change everything you think you know about these modern-day carriers of ancient blood. Kings claimed blue blood, noble blood that separated them from commoners. They married within bloodlines, obsessing over genetic purity, believing that their blood carried divine essence that made them fundamentally different from their subjects. But what if they were right? Not about divine right, but about the blood itself. The pharaohs of Egypt didn't just claim divine status. They obsessed over bloodline preservation. Brother married sister, uncle married niece. They risked genetic catastrophe to maintain what they called the blood of the gods. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of rulers whose blood could commune with divine beings, whose genetic heritage determined the fate of empires. Mayan priest kings performed elaborate bloodletting rituals, believing their blood held supernatural properties. Aztec codices describe nobles whose blood could predict the future, whose lineage carried the wisdom of the feathered serpent. European royalty spoke of blue blood, but medieval alchemical texts suggest this wasn't just social hierarchy. They described blood that appeared different under certain conditions, blood that carried properties beyond the physical. The Habsburgs, the Ptolemies, dynasties that risked everything to preserve bloodline purity. What if these obsessions weren't about social control, but about preserving rare genetic traits? Celtic druids claimed they could identify the blood of the Tuatha De Danann through ancient rituals, tests that modern science dismisses as superstition. But what if those rituals were primitive forms of genetic identification? Dr. Rebecca Morrison, a historian of science at Oxford, has documented over 200 historical references to individuals with sacred blood across different cultures and time periods. These individuals were often treated as living gods, protected by entire civilizations, their bloodlines carefully tracked and preserved. The Vikings spoke of berserkers whose blood made them immune to pain. Hindu traditions describe bloodlines that carried divine consciousness. Native American shamans whose blood connected them to the spirit world. Different cultures, different continents, different time periods, but the same obsession with sacred blood. Could ancient elites have known of bloodlines like this long before science discovered them? 43 people, scattered across the globe, carrying in their veins the rarest substance on Earth. Most don't even know they're special until a routine blood test changes everything. Imagine the phone call. We need to run additional tests. Your blood is unusual. Within hours, they're entered into classified international databases, the International Rare Donor Program, a secret network that sounds more like a spy organization than a medical registry. When a golden blood emergency occurs anywhere in the world, this network activates encrypted messages, diplomatic pouches, government resources mobilized for a single vial of blood. In 2014, a golden blood carrier in Brazil needed emergency surgery. Within 18 hours, blood was transported from Switzerland under diplomatic immunity. The cost? Over $50,000 for 1 pint. But here's what the medical journals don't tell you. Some golden blood carriers report being contacted by private research firms, offers of money for samples, requests for genetic testing that go far beyond medical necessity. They're studying something, looking for something, and they're doing it in secret. Dr. Connie Westhoff, former director of the Immunohematology Laboratory at New York Blood Center, admitted in a 2019 interview, "We don't fully understand what other genetic factors are linked to the RHnull phenotype." Other genetic factors. What other genetic factors? What if golden blood isn't just about missing antigens? What if it's a marker for something else? Something that makes these 43 people genetically distinct in ways we're only beginning to understand. Enhanced immune systems, resistance to certain diseases, longevity factors, neural differences. What if the golden bloodline isn't just rare? What if it's evolved? We stand at the threshold of a genetic revolution, and golden blood is at its center. Right now, in laboratories across the world, scientists are using CRISPR gene editing technology to attempt something unprecedented, engineering universal donor blood. They're trying to create synthetic blood that carries the same properties as golden blood, but can be manufactured on demand. Dr. Jennifer Doudna, Nobel Prize winner and pioneer of CRISPR technology, admitted in a recent interview that certain rare blood phenotypes present unique challenges and opportunities for genetic engineering that we're only beginning to explore. The military implications are staggering. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, $50 million in what they call enhanced blood programs. The details are classified, but leaked documents suggest they're studying rare blood types for strategic biological advantages. Imagine soldiers in the field with blood that makes them universal donors for any wounded comrade. Blood that carries enhanced healing properties, resistance to biological weapons, immunity to diseases that could cripple entire armies. Private biotech companies are racing to unlock these secrets. Moderna has a secretive division called Advanced Cellular Engineering that's reportedly working on synthetic blood substitutes with properties that mirror those found in rare phenotypes. But here's what should terrify us. If golden blood can be replicated, if its properties can be enhanced and distributed, Who controls that technology? Who decides who gets access to genetic advantages that could reshape human potential? Dr. Angela Martinez, a bioethicist at Harvard Medical School, warns, we may be looking at the birth of a genetic aristocracy. Those with enhanced blood types, whether natural or engineered, could become a separate class of humans. What if golden blood isn't the last remnant of human evolution, but the seed of humanity's next leap? What if the 43 people carrying this blood today aren't genetic anomalies, but evolutionary pioneers? We stand at the threshold of a revelation that could reshape our understanding of human origins. 43 people, 43 carriers of a genetic signature that predates recorded history. They are living libraries of DNA that tells a story science is afraid to read. What if the builders of megalithic monuments, the creators of ancient wisdom, the leaders of lost civilizations, what if they carried this blood? Recent advances in paleogenetics have shown that modern humans carry DNA from at least 3 separate human species: Neanderthal, Denisovan, and something else, something science hasn't identified yet. What if golden blood carriers are the living descendants of that unknown ancestor? What if they're not missing genetic information, they're carrying ancient genetic information that the rest of us lost? Dr. Svante Pääbo, Nobel Prize winner for his work on ancient human DNA, stated in 2022, there are genetic patterns in modern humans that suggest interbreeding with an unidentified species within the last 40,000 years. 40,000 years ago, right around the time human civilization began to emerge, the same time period when humans suddenly developed advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, medicine, knowledge that seemed to appear overnight in the archaeological record. What if the Golden Bloodline carries the genetic memory of that knowledge? What if they're not medical anomalies, but the last guardians of humanity's hidden heritage? Tonight, 43 people will go to sleep, carrying in their blood the answers to questions we're only beginning to know how to ask. Are they the last of an ancient race? The first of an evolved one? Or something else entirely? The Golden Bloodline exists. The science is real. The mystery is profound. What flows in your veins may be more extraordinary than you ever imagined. If this revelation has awakened something in you, if you feel the call to know more, subscribe now, because this is just the beginning. The genetic secrets of humanity run deeper than any ocean, darker than any conspiracy, and more beautiful than any myth. Thanks for watching.